can record, then you can.
Awesome. Didn't know you could do that.
Cool.
With the co-record. Yeah, it's cool. Awesome. So today we're here to talk about settings. We previously discussed this. I think we touched base on this topic a couple of times, right? But then I told you that I wanted to be more formal, just in a way that to go over the topics that I have in the agenda, and also see where your feedback for enablement aligns with what other designers already said from different stage groups. And there's this epic for settings that so far doesn't really belong to any stage groups. And I created this proposal to go over existing setting issues and also look at previous research, previous user insights, and feature requests that we have. But also try to get an understanding from different stage groups. Where are they right now in when it comes to settings, and what are the future enhancements that different teams are planning, so that we can align. Over here. And I saw that you already added some things in the agenda. So yeah, if you want to talk about the previous work by Enablement.
Yes. So I think enablement, we have several different groups, but what I can talk about today is the geo, distribution, and search, which includes some of the UI. And the others, I cannot tell you that much. So thankfully, geo team, we have already some chances to revisit this page. So if you see the Figma page here, do you want me to share the screen and then walk through this? Okay. So let's here. Okay. So if you see the geo settings page, we don't have that much on the UI because the other behavior could be done in the terminal for now. And we already revisit this page, and then now everything here is from the latest pajama, and then I also check with the behavior on the pajama document. So I think it's done. But of course, if you have any feedback, I can also add a new issue and adding to the epic if I need to. So we can still like talk more about this design when we have more time. So this is all for the geo team at the moment, but in the future it will be increased because our plan is transferring the terminal experience to the UI. So what I expect to have it here, the list would be longer and longer. Then maybe I need to revisit this page and regroup it and recategorize it. And maybe if I need to reposition some of the menu in the different page. But it'll take some time, so. And this is the distribution teams related setting page, which is just the default page of the admin area. I chose this page because I think this is the only page about setting related to distribution, because distribution take care of the installation of the self-hosted and also some upgrading version. So I think the information here on the right side under the components area might be related to them. And I found already some of the issues while I creating the UX scorecard for upgrading. For example, like the GitLab version is under here, components. But at the moment, if user, or if I just click on this link, it just goes to the admin area general settings, which is a bit unclear to me, and maybe also to other user. So I think there are some room for improvement regarding the upgrading journey from this page. It's not that clear. So what our user currently doing for this is just open a new tab and Google like upgrade GitLab version Ubuntu, and then they found the right document. So there's no link in between those pages. And maybe there could be some other pages could be part of the distribution setting UX, but I went through the document, but maybe it's under the growth team or the distribution team. So I think in general, like we need to revisit the general admin settings area because we have everything there. And it's not easy like to imagine that, okay, it's under the general settings.
Okay.
That's what I have found. And I know that some other designer already mentioned this.
And I mean, I don't think I worked at all with the admin area, but then when I go into that environment that you gave me, and I play around with it, I wonder if what you have now in the admin area, it just replicates the patterns that we have in, you know, the regular project
Yes.
settings. That's okay. That's the case. Note here.
So this is what I could see part of the distribution team's work. And I realized there's some more setting UX part could be involved in the global search team because this is what I have like missed actually. So I went through this page. So as a system administrator, they need to enable Elasticsearch for their non-admin user on this page. So they also need to start from this page. So if you can see here, this is the features tab and there's Elasticsearch here. And then this icon links to the documentation and it's now disabled. And then they need to enable this and there's no link to it. So it's kind of hard to find the right like setting page. So there's no door. So like, hey, I want to open this.
So this is like a view of what's enabled and disabled, but there's no way to actually go anywhere to change the settings. Okay, that's weird. Yeah.
That's a bit problematic. So this is like how it looks before enabling. And I tested with my I think it was GDK. And then now it's enabled.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of find it a little bit unclear because I've actually saw this integration because Elasticsearch is a different service. I went to this page and it's like, okay, it has been moved. So, okay, so I need to go to the general settings again. Okay, so but thanks to this banner, I could follow it. And then this is some part of, it's not all, sorry. I think I tried to make the screenshot, but this is not all. We have some more in between these two images. And what I heard from the team is we will have more. Okay. And this long list is part of the general settings general. And if user expanded and they'll see this page. So as you can see, I think designers should revisit this page and align with the pajama design system. I think this is the first cleanup phase that we can do. Mm-hmm. And also, sorry.
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. So, and also like, I think some components is like, could be replaced by something else, like, because like, as far as I know, there is no design team involved when we come up with this design. It was coming from the engineering team. So what I meant is like, we need redesign starting from aligning with pajamas, and maybe we need to rethink about if it is the really right component to use. And also I have talked to the product team that this will be longer and longer progressively, probably from some milestone later, it'll be much longer. Then if I'm wondering if it is the really right place to stay here. It's still under the settings general. And I'm just questioning like, maybe we need to rethink about this information architecture. First, it's hard to find for the first time user. Second, it's a lot. There's a lot of things ongoing here.
Mhm. When you were prototyping, when you were playing around with this UI, did you have like any challenges with our components library, and where did you go to, find the patterns and to know which settings, UX standards you should follow?
Yeah, so I think not this one. So when I did the setting UX for the geo, I was a bit confused because I think I mentioned that, like I told you before on our one-on-one, that like our form has some different types. Like we sometimes use accordion to just click expand and collapse, or sometimes we use totally different layout, not like this geo settings view. I think it's like left hand side, like 30% of the width we
Mm.
use it as the title area, and the other 70% we use the form area. So I didn't know like which one is the right rule to follow. So it could be great, like maybe we can also add this to our design libraries or somewhere that, okay, this is the right layout to follow, and this could be your title area, including some subtitle or description, and then your forms or controls start here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but we during this conversation with designers, this is a topic that comes up quite often. As in, we have components guidelines, and we have the UI, the look and feel of the components in isolation. But then there is this, because there's so much inconsistency across the product. There, it would be helpful to have pajamas guiding the settings UX, or the general guidelines for how we should
Yes,
design this. Yeah.
that would be really helpful because GitLab is a complicated product. And then I do think like every single stage group, they have on their settings area
Mhm.
and they look different sometimes. And as a designer, that is confusing. And if I imagine that maybe for the user, and if they are not familiar with our product, then
Yeah.
things are getting more complicated.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Um, because we try to, like myself, when I'm trying to design something for settings, then I look at the product, I'm constantly like, oh my God, is this source of truth? Do people actually use this, right? And we do have research, and actually the recent research and the conversations and the interviews around navigation, they touch base on settings as well. I had a conversation with Catherine, um, and I think you saw those insights. I'm gonna add
Yes.
here in the chat about the system usability
Mm-hmm.
for settings. Mm. And then we have the big themes that were identified, when I created this settings UX epic. So it's information
Yes.
architecture, I think we already touched on that. The change of context. So in the project and the group settings, we have this switch between contextual settings and general settings. And I think you also
Mm-hmm.
mentioned this, right? In the general and the areas.
Context.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
trying to I'm trying to think of it. um, and placements of features. Let me see. I have so many issues here. And options overload, the switch to the flow. Those were like the main things: discoverability, global versus
Mm-mm.
contextual settings, the switch to the flow, options overload, and inconsistency. Um, do you think like is there any other topic that you found challenging with the admin settings?
Mm, I think that discoverability in general is a bit problematic. I know that it's not like easy as a product team because we have so many things to be shown there. And then, of course, we like to show everything at once, but it's not like that, and it's not how user perceive the UI when they're using. So I think in general, like maybe we need to reprioritize some of the information on that main area and clean up the paths to the settings
Mm-hmm.
would increase some of the usability as a first iteration, I would say.
Okay. Um,
So I'll stop sharing if,
sure. No problem.
you
And let's see, you add other things here. The challenge in the past that the scope is not clear. All right, in the admin
Mhm.
page. And yeah, about search.
Yes.
And this with Nick. Um, because, hold on, I have too many tabs open. Actually, I wanted to show you. Let me see if I find search here. Mm, here in this epic
Mhm.
is settings, UX, and re-architecture. That's how we're calling it. And we do have a bunch of both feature requests, but also our existing insights and research that we started but never finished around
Mhm.
settings UX, no, settings search.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember that we talked about when you were showing your prototypes on how you wanted to improve the search layout and everything. Did you consider expanding the options that the users will be able to search for in the global search? For example, you can search for settings, you can search for, I don't know, specific comments in the top bar. And when you're doing your investigation for the search improvements, did you look at the existing research or things that other designers did in the past? Long questions, I know. Sorry.
So when I tried to think about so redesigning the search result page, I didn't think about like adding new feature because I only have like one milestone to be delivered and I just deliver. So I think the new designer, Nick, he will join from 13.5 for this global search team. And I think he'll have more time to investigate those. And also what Josh mentioned. And then I also found something similar idea, like some, I don't know, keyboard shortcut or maybe using the top navigation search bar by typing some specific term that they can like go through some setting option if they're
Mm,
sysadmin or maybe if they have accessibility to see those settings page. I think it's a nice idea because it'll reduce the number of clicks at least, or it'll increase the discoverability. Just go to that page that, okay, maybe I can just do this work, administrative work like that way. I think it's a cool idea. But I think PM and the product director is started to discussing this option as you have already pinged on the thread.
awesome.
And how about the second question? Sorry, I forgot.
I know. I have this tendency of asking one thing and then I get too excited. No, it was about extra features and also about existing research when you were
Mm-mm.
doing the redesign of settings. Jesus Christ, of search. If you looked at the previous research that was done.
So I have found something, but it's not really directly about the global search. is about some filtering option in the issue list or the MR list that we have. And then I have seen those research document and the result, and I could refer to, but it's not exactly the same. So what I'm currently conducting is not about just setting thing. It's more about just searching result itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, that's all right. I just want to touch base. I had a conversation
Yeah.
with, I think, Matei and Tim, and then we
Mm-hmm.
talked. We have a video on Filter if you're curious, and also the notes here as well. It was my last call, where they talk about um, that one of the main things for growth is really that we make easier to find things in settings.
Mm-mm.
So this, I think this is the one. Let me see. Yeah, the one I already sent you. That's the big epic.
Mm-hmm.
And again, yeah, Mate had some interesting things to share, but it was never prioritized. So if you're curious or if you ever feel like you need to go there, there's there's some issues that log this information.
Nice.
So, let's see, and anything other than what you already mentioned that it's upcoming. I think Nick will take over, right?
Yes.
The priorities. Oh, okay.
So my expectation would be Nick will joining to the global search team, and then I'll go back to distribution and geo. So what I can do for the distribution team is providing a better way to, I don't know, manage the version or just provide at least a link to the documentation when they upgrade the self-managed version, because that is part of settings and administrative work that they need to maintain the right version for using self-managed GitLab.
Mm-hmm.
And for Nick, I think he will have plenty of things to do. And I'm not so sure about like when the setting UX will be prioritized on the top level, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe not for now. That's my expectation. But within like 2 or 3 milestones, I've already created a couple of small issues to update the long like Elasticsearch configuration page already. So
Mm-hmm.
could be picked up by him when he has time, and that could be done within few milestones. But that's just my estimation.
Okay, that's good. And these, let me see. Do I have a link to these issues? We have a Figma. Um, yeah. Okay. Global search team accelerating support for settings. Everything's in this issue that you linked here. Right. If you have any specific issues that you think would be interesting, even if they're not a schedule or anything, just feel free to drop them here or
Sure.
add to the main epic.
Of course.
What I'm trying to do, what I'm going to do this week is kind of group these things by topics, like information architecture or search or I don't know, usability, etc. And then give the UX leadership a status update about where everyone's at. Awesome. Anything else?
I think that's it from my side.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much for
you.
discussing this with me again.
Ah,
More in depth this time. Awesome. I'll stop.
cool.